Hey guys, welcome back to my video of my shoe makeover. This is part 2, and today I'm going to be covering the actual heel part of the high heel. We won't really need to cover the bottom piece here, the cap, because it shouldn't be covered over. So I'm going to focus on just covering the upper part. So I'm just taking my fabric to see where I want it placed on, the pattern placed on the actual heel, like what color shows more. I like the reds and the green showing, and the part of that shows the yellow, and so yeah, I'd like that to be reflected. So now that I got it remotely where I want it, I'm just gonna cut off the excess fabric because I don't need to use all that. So now I'm just positioning it just to see, you know, where it might set when I'm ready to glue it on. I think that looks just about right. But before I go ahead and glue it, I want to take off the cap. Now on my second shoe this is my first shoe, I already took the cap off before I even started doing the process of covering it with fabric, but this was my first go at it, and just doing things a little out of order. But yeah, just taking the cap of the shoe off here, I'm just using a pair of simple pliers. It's my first time taking a cap off a shoe. I don't even know what it's technically called. I'm just calling it the cap of the heel. But a shoe end, I don't know. But yeah, it's giving me a little bit of trouble, but eventually I am going to pop that off here. And you'll see that you're left with like this little silver piece. I'll be holding it up in a second here. The silver piece right here. I will be eventually taking that out. That gave me a lot of trouble, by the way. I had to get my husband to remove it. It's like a little rod in there you have to pull out, and it was hard. The second one I could do it, but the first one he had to do. But I digress. So I'm taking the heel, and I'm just looking at the pattern and gonna place that on my heel where I had it before. Tried to line it up exactly where I had it before. Again, I like a lot of that red and green showing on the heel because I'm not as big of a fan of the black on the fabric. But so I think that's about good. I might maneuver it here a little bit more. Sorry, that was just my son. He was telling me I wasn't recording, but I was. So so anyways, sorry about that. He's just didn't think I was recording. So now that I got the fabric where I want it, I'm just going to glue it. Just so I can keep, you know, I'll start gluing the top. You could glue for the bottom piece of the heel too. Like, it doesn't matter, but just you want to secure it in one spot at least so your fabric doesn't move and you have, excuse me, where the pattern is lined up, where you lined it up, that is going to keep there. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So basically, throughout the next little bit here, I will be just continuing to glue all the fabric down, trying to smooth it out, make sure there's no bubbles, no like dents in it. So that'll be just for the next little bit here. So here I'm just going to, now that I got it all sort of glued down in different, majority of the heel, I'm just going to cut off the end to expose the bottom where the cap goes in. Because again, I don't need that excess fabric. And my cats are going crazy in the background. Between my son and the cats, it's hard to get a quiet moment with peace to try to do a voiceover, but if you're a mom out there, type in the comments that you feel me. So yeah, I'm just continuing to glue the fabric on. So now I'm going to take the bottom of the heel and just figure out where that's going to align. Had a moment there where I put the sole on backwards, but just getting a picture, a visual, what that will look like. I'm just going to take some sandpaper and just smooth out any little rough surfaces. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just so that the shoe, the sole glue adheres well. Doing the same thing for the heel, just a little bit. So there is excess fabric you'll see on the side that I really want to glue down just to make sure it's a clean finish before I try to attach the heel on the shoe. I'm just gonna get my glove here because sometimes I don't use the glove, but your hands just get so sticky without it, it's crazy. So here I am just taking sandpaper again and just getting any rough bits off the bottom of the sole of the shoe. Again, just for the glue to really adhere well from the sole to the shoe. So here I'm just putting glue down over the sole glue over the whole sole. I'm sort of zigzagging it because I'll be taking my paintbrush, or I don't know, you could use like a little spatula, little plastic spatula to even it all out, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I'm just evening out the glue here just to make sure I get a even surface where everything connects evenly. And just taking where I put that Q-tip in there, aligning it with the shoe. And I'm gonna glue my heel on before I align those two. So just making sure that the heel is adhering well. I think you can see a little image of the Q-tip there, a little white bit. That is the Q-tip. So it aligned pretty good. Now it should align perfectly for my screw. And I say it should. I know since this is a voiceover, the finished product, it did align well. So yeah, I'm just making sure that's adhering well. So now I'm going to take the sole of the shoe. I'm holding, I didn't glue the heel purposely, the sole heel, because I had something to hold on to. But I'm just aligning it now as best as I can to make it look even. Now, I don't even know what the instructions said, but I think it's around 24 to 48 hours. Most glues, I recommend it to be on the shoe before you put them on or use them or whatever. So I made a blender here. I didn't put any like newspaper or anything to puff out the shoe before I put the hair ties on. I just used hair ties to secure the bottom of the sole on so the glue would really stick and the sole couldn't go anywhere or move around or detach itself. And the blender I made was, since I didn't put any newspaper in the shoe to make the form, that you will see at the end product that right where the elastics or the hair ties are now, there's a little dent in the shoe. And that's fine, because when I put the shoe on, you can't notice it. It's just when it's off. So I learned my lesson from that. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just a DIYer trying to put some fabric on shoes, guys. But you can learn with me, learn from my mistakes, and you won't fall into the same thing I did, hopefully, or do the same mistake I did. So now I'm going to address the sole here where the heel attaches, the sole of the heel attaches to the heel. Again, just same method, putting the glue on. putting the elastic around the heel just to make sure that adheres well. Just going in and touching up where the toe meets because I felt like it was detached a bit. So just getting some glue in there, trying to make that more flush in the front. Now, I wouldn't recommend what I did here because it didn't put a dent in it because I didn't do it super hard. But it just left a little bit of the white, a little bit slightly, I wouldn't say stained, but a little brownish from the rust or whatever, the dirt on the pliers because they're not brand new pliers. But again, I was just winging it, guys. I just tried to figure out how that toe, the sole of the toe wouldn't pop away from the toe of the heel. So I just took my pliers and secured that. Now it's been some days. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I left this project for a while, so this shoe was sitting for quite a bit. Some fraying here, but we'll address that later. So I'm just taking all the elastics off now. And you will see where my thumbs are. There's a blender here where, you know, the elastics molded it and made dents in it. Oh well, at least you can't see it, like I said, when it's on. So now I'm going to take the screw, and I bought a new screw because I stripped the other one by mistake. I think I was trying to pull off the heel because I didn't know it was screwed when I was taking apart the shoe. I think that's what stripped it. Again, I'm just going with the flow here, guys. you live, you learn. So I bought a little bit of a thicker screw to try to, you know, make it secure, and it did. It worked. So I'll be putting that in. And there's also like a little metal bit here that was on top of that screw to secure the heel. I might actually add that in later, but when I took it out, I disfigured it a little bit. So when I tried to put it back in, it didn't work well, I'm not gonna lie. But when I tried on the shoe, it felt pretty secure just with the screw and the glue. That might change over time of wearing them. But again, this ain't even going to be a heel that I wear. Like, it's not a staple. It's more something you might wear like 3 to 4 times a year maybe with an outfit in like the winter. So there's that. I won't be wearing it all the time. That silver part though, guys, that was so hard. Again, I had to get, like, my husband, I had to get his strength to pull out that rod, because there's a little rod, as you see, that attaches to the cap. Well, that was with the original too. So when I took the little beige cap off, this one's black, the rod was left in. Now I know that. And the second one I took out myself, because I kind of knew how to maneuver it better. But yeah, that first rod was stuck in there. So now I take my handy dandy frozen scissors, and I'm just going to cut off the excess frays here. I don't want to take too much off, because I want to make sure that the fabric folds over clean and like tucked in, so you don't see any frays or any like cut edges. I want that clean look, but I don't want too much fabric, because I don't want it to cover the actual hole where the dowel goes in for the cap. So I'm just going to take my glue and just finish gluing that fabric down over that piece to give that nice clean look. So now I'm taking the cap of the heel and I'm lining up the dowel with the hole. And I'm glad that I ordered new caps in black, because the black just goes better with this shoe. It's just a little bit darker colors. And I couldn't find a hammer, so you know, got all fancy here, and I took a back of a screwdriver and I'm using that. It looks like, you know, for all you rednecks out there, I'm from the country too, so I'm not here to insult you, but it's pretty redneck how I'm doing this. Like, I'm just like pounding this shoe cap with a screwdriver. But here I'm just making sure that it is straight, so because I don't want it like off kilter, so straightening that out and going back to aggressively just smacking the cap on the shoe, just making sure it's nice and attached. And I love that I'm using the professional terms as well for all this. Any shoemakers out there are probably just cringing at everything I'm probably doing in these videos. And I don't know why, but I hate when people say I'm not a professional. Like, I'm like, okay, fine. We don't need the disclaimer. But honestly, when you're actually doing things like this, I understand, because you start feeling the judgment, even though maybe someone's not judging you. You're like, man, like, I'm probably butchering this to a professional. So I'm doing the cringy thing I hate. I'm putting a disclaimer out. I am not a professional. Come along with me on my journeys here. But, and if you want to do what I'm doing, give it a try. I'm not saying it's going to work long term. This is just me and my journey of DIYing. So I now want to take the shoe, where the sole meets the cap. It's just a little bit of an overhang, so I want it to make sure that's a little bit more clean. So I'm taking my X-Acto knife here, or whatever it's called, box cutter, and I'm trying to even that out. But you're gonna see that it didn't work clean, like it wasn't giving me a clean cut. So what I did is I went and got a more of like an X-Acto knife, like with a thinner blade, and that worked really well. So I just give it a clean cut across. It turned out really nice. And just, I'm also taking some glue just because where I was playing with that, trying to get it, even. It wasn't attached fully, and just making sure it's all glued down properly. So this is a shoe. As you can see, it's a little dent in it. You live, you learn. Next time I'll use paper to stuff it or whatever so it doesn't happen. But I think the heel turned out pretty good. And yeah, it's not too shabby for a DIY, I think. So if you want to see the finished product of both of the shoes, go to my Instagram, which I'll have tagged below. But take care and God bless until I see you on the next one.